about Brexit and said that fundamental reforms are needed in European institutions.
Well, Hungary is a country which lies at the heart of Europe. Politically and geographically, India and Hungary both enjoy good diplomatic relations since the year 1948. With me is the Foreign and the Trade Minister. Sir, welcome to Doordarshan News. And my first question is on trade. How can Hungary become a gateway for India for investments in Europe?
Hungary is the perfect choice since we are in the heart of Europe, in Central Europe, from where there's a direct outreach to the markets of European Union, Russia, and to the emerging markets of the Western Balkans. And for this, we offer a very wide variety of incentives and subsidy schemes for Indian companies.
So, but why should an Indian company invest in Europe and Hungary at this point, given the fact towards your west, Brexit has happened, towards your east there's a war going around, from south there's an immigration crisis happening. So what makes Hungary an investment opportunity for Indian companies?
To be very honest, European Union has been struggling with enormous difficulties. Well, let's say the most enormous since we have founded the European Union. But you know, Europe is still a growing market with growing economies, and Central Europe is actually the growth engine of the continent. So if you invest in Central Europe, you can be sure that you are investing in a steadily growing region.
So let's talk about politics also, reforms in various institutions, especially the UNSC reforms. India has been asking for the space for many countries on the high table, the UN high table. What's your country's response on that?
In a new world era, you need global institutions to be reformed, because these global institutions were established in totally different times. And since times are changing, these structures need to change as well. So we totally subscribe to those who say that the UN structure must be reformed.
So, does your country support India's membership for the NSG, the Nuclear Suppliers Group? The meet happened in South Korea's Seoul, but it was inconclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. We supported the NSG membership of India, and I was called by my fellow foreign minister to say thank you for that, with which I was honored. And I have told her today, earlier during our meeting, that Hungary will be committed to support India's endeavors in this respect.
So India has been asking for common definition of terrorism at the United Nations. What's your view on that? Do you support India's plan of common definition for the terrorism?
Well, you know, Europe has been struggling from terrorism recently. We have never experienced such a terrorism threat than currently. So if there's a country on earth being committed to anti-terrorism fight, then it is Hungary. And we support those initiatives which bring us closer to a successful fight against terrorism.
So my last and final question is on Brexit. It has caused, at least in media, we have been following it like anything. Do you think that it will scuttle the European integration plan?
What I can draw as a conclusion for sure is that things must be changed in Europe. So European institutions in Brussels must realize that they must not run a policy against the will of European people. They must not run policy by taking the will of European people out of consideration. That led to this situation. I think it's obvious that strong integration can only be built on strong member states. And people are fed up with those European politics which would like to weaken the member states.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was the Foreign and the Trade Minister of Hungary talking exclusively with Doordarshan News. With camera person Malkit Siddhant, Sibbal, DD News, New Delhi.
News now from Uttarakhand. Improvement in the weather has helped